Every dog has his day, but only gangsters can be labeled as Mobster of the Month. On the next installment of Mobster of the Month, we focus not only on the best-dressed mobster of all time, but also one of the most controversial and talked about mob bosses of the century. The man we're referring to goes by the names the Teflon Don, the Dapper Don, and the incomparable John Gotti. Gotti, although being a formidable character, was surrounded by non-stop controversy who left blood, corruption, and destruction in his path. Many say his legacy brought the Godfather's Don Corleone to life in the real world. He found his rise to fame in 1985 after he was left to make a quick decision between himself and the rules. Around this time, Gotti and his soldiers were dealing narcotics. This was something Gambino crime boss Paul Castellano looked down on and forbid. The penalty for being caught in the distribution of drugs was death. Gotti, however, played by his own rules and went on his own will. The decision to either take out Big Paul unpermitted or being killed himself left him with a seemingly easy choice. In 1985, outside Sparks Steakhouse, Gotti went forward with the hit, and this would place him in the rank of the new Gambino crime boss. With great power, however, also comes great risk, and considering how he rose to power, this was something that didn't sit well with the other family bosses. Two of these bosses being Vincent Gigante and Anthony Corallo. Both wanted him dead, so they ordered Lucchese Capos Vic Amuso and Anthony Casso to plant a bomb under Gotti's car. However, Gotti avoided death as he avoided many troublesome encounters during his reign as boss. The Teflon Don dodged the attack, making him live up to his invincible nickname and reputation that he'd acquired years later. Around the same time, Gotti was also being acquitted on many court cases, including missing persons, racketeering, and influenced jury or witnesses. Whether it was a major court case or a string of personal assaults, he always was cleared of every charge. This also added to his media persona, making him seem indestructible and exempt from the rules, which was yet another thing mob patrons despised. As a rule, the Mafia always liked to stay out of the limelight, so for someone to flash their power and wealth in front of TV cameras upset a lot of older generation Mafia. But as the saying implies, what goes up must come down. And finally, in his last court hearing before prison sentencing, John Gotti's reign would fall. His underboss and personal hitman, Sammy Gravano, would speak about the crimes both committed and forever be labeled as what the Mafia calls a rat. The FBI played back some wiretapes of Gotti trying to pin all the contracted hits on Sammy. Gravano was angered when hearing John speak about how greedy he was and trying to frame him for the murders of Castellano, Thomas Bilotti, Robert DiBernardo, Liborio Milito, and Louis De Bono. In 1991, Gravano made a deal with the government and turned informant, which would unravel secrets about the Gambino family and put Gotti behind bars for life. Gravano gave full descriptions and detailed events in the Gambino's timeline, from the Castellano hit right through the Gotti's place in the family. The Teflon Don was fined $250,000 and given a life sentence. The announcement soon came to the media as, "The Teflon is gone, the Don is covered with Velcro, and all the charges stuck." Gotti eventually died from throat cancer at the age of 61, looking a shell of his former self in this unrecognizable photo taken months before his death. According to former Lucchese crime boss Anthony Gaspipe Casso, what Gotti did was the beginning of the end of Cosa Nostra. We hope you've enjoyed our tale of John Gotti and latest installment to our series for Mobster of the Month. Keep it locked here for more web series, original documentaries, and all things mob-related at thenationalcrimesyndicate.com.
You tell this punk, me, John Gotti, to sever your mother head off.
You're now rocking with the best, NCS Costa Nostra.
Welcome to the Sting of Voss.
The search is over. Every series helps bring you a step closer to the life of the mob without dangerous exposure of what went down. Plus Mobster of the Month, original content if you're searching on a hunt for the who's who, or the best dressed guy, the type of guns they use, the fuse and mob wire. We supply everything as soon as you log on to the National Crime Syndicate.com. From John Gotti to Don, back to Mustache Pete, Big Joe, Al Capone, and Maya Lansky. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, cause the code of silence here no longer applies. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned in, cause over here we like to keep this thing moving.